So you've decided that you're ready to make a change and you want to have a whole food diet. And a whole food diet to me means eating as close to a natural state as possible. Unrefined, unprocessed, it came from the ground or it had a mother. That kind of whole food diet. So you've decided that you really want to make a change and you want to have this whole food diet, but you have no idea where to start. So this is quite a common concern. I hear it all the time, and I struggled with it myself the first couple times I tried to make this change. So I want to help you skip the whole drama and start taking action. So if we haven't met before, my name is Nessa Shears. I'm a weight loss coach. I work with high achieving women who are working on losing those last 10 to 15 pounds because we need precision, we need the right steps, and we need them in the right order. So let's start with a whole food nutrition plan. So the first time I ever tried this was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I made the decision that, it was a really random one-off decision. I'm gonna go paleo. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat paleo. And I looked up on the internet what it was. So this is probably, it was a while ago. I looked up paleo on the internet and it was like, you can only eat meat, seeds, fruit, and vegetables. And I was like, I could do that. So I went over to my fridge and I opened the fridge. And at this time I was still living at home and the food wasn't my choice. So I opened the fridge and I was like, fruit, nuts, seeds. All I was eating at the time, by the way, at that point was pasta and bread and cereal and oatmeal and, everything like that. And none of that was on the paleo plan. And all I had was this list of foods. So I remembered the specific little plate that I pulled out, and I want to tell you what was on that plate. There was a, one of those cooked hams, those cooked honey hams. And I was like, well, okay, that had a mother, so I cut a hunk of the ham off. And then there was like a bag of mixed seeds and nuts, so I took a handful of that and put that on my plate. And then I remember I was like, well, fruit's allowed, so I went and cut up an apple. And I remember going and sitting outside in the sun with this little plate with a hunk of ham, a bunch of seeds, and an apple on it, and eating it, thinking, this is the weirdest diet? Who the heck eats like this? This is so weird. And guess how long that lasted? It lasted all of 2 days. 2 days was all I got out of it because all I kept thinking about were, I know what I'm not supposed to eat, I know what I'm supposed to eat, but I had no idea how to put it all together. And that is what I so often find women that I work with struggle with. And, even when my mom tried to jump on to eating healthy whole foods recently, she came to me, she's like, you know what, I opened the fridge, I have no idea what to eat. Like, I can't eat crackers, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. So this is a stumbling block, and I bet you've probably run into this. Like, what the heck do I eat? I've got all these foods I can't eat, all these foods I can't eat. What's going on? So here's what I want you to do. You need to take 20 to 30 minutes, and you need to go and find yourself some new recipes. This sounds so intuitive, and you're like, well, duh. Well, but the thing is, most of us don't think to do that, and that's totally normal. I've been there too. So I'm going to give you a couple strategies for places I like to go to look for new recipes. And the number one place is Pinterest. The neat thing is, with Pinterest, you can actually type in not just like recipes and see what comes up, but you can type in the foods that you are trying to include. So if you include, you want to have, say, a meal that has spinach, chicken, and corn in it, and you type those 3 things into Pinterest, it's going to spit out recipes that have those things in it. If you are cutting out sugar and flour, what a good thing is to do is to go search, low carb meals, keto meals, paleo breakfast ideas. We make everything so confusing, and instead what you do is you go, I can't have this and I can't have this, what am I supposed to eat? Ask yourself a better question. What could I eat that has these foods in it that I would enjoy making that actually tastes good? So the first place I always go to is Pinterest. And what I end up doing is I have a bunch of print off of a bunch of our favorite recipes, and most of these recipes are including the foods. So lots of vegetables, moderate amounts of protein, high fat, and relatively easy to cook. If you are a fan of easy cooked meals, try typing in paleo or low carb or keto or whatever plan you're on, vegan, vegetarian, slow cooker meals. The job you want to do is accumulate some recipes. So the second thing I will likely do is I will go to the library and I'll do one of two things. Number one, I'll either get a book. So the book that I've been reading right now is The Wild Diet. It follows a bit of a paleo structure, and I don't conform to any diet type. I eat all kinds of foods in moderation, and I make sure I eat what makes me feel good, but I do like to learn new principles from new authors. So this is what I'm reading right now, The Wild Diet. So two things happen here. Number one, I actually find that a lot of these books have recipes in the back of the book, and I will take some from here if I really enjoy them, and I'll try them out, because I know that if I agree with the principles of the book, I usually will find that the recipes fit perfectly into the style of food that I'm eating that week. So the Wild Diet specifically, this matches up with the principles that I believe in very strongly. Removing refined grains, removing refined flours and sugars, eating lots of vegetables, moderate amounts of proteins, high healthy fats. This book has it, so these recipes were a good fit for me. Now here's the other thing that I do. Sometimes I don't like to have to, because this book has to go back to the library and I don't want to have to write out all the directions. So sometimes what I'll do, and I did this the other day, is I'll go onto Google and I will type in Wild Diet recipes. And Google will bring up all of the recipes from this book that have been indexed online or published by the author on their blog. So now I have a digital copy, so I can start keeping them in a digital file folder. I always have a file folder going on my desk, and it's really easy. You just make a little, a folder. And whenever you find a new recipe you want to try, drop it into the folder. Then you can rename them, like that was a chicken recipe, or, that was a Buddha bowl recipe. And then I'll just go in there and I will pick out one that I want to eat. So step number one is you have to take the time to find new recipes, because you don't want to end up like me with a plate with a hunk of ham, an apple, and a bunch of nuts and seeds on it, because that is not sustainable. It's not a fully balanced meal, and it's not even that good tasting. So step one, find yourself new recipes, and step number two is put them into a simple meal plan that you can enjoy. So what you might want to do is pick 4 recipes for the week. And maybe on Sunday night you'll cook 2 of them, but you'll cook enough for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Then on Wednesday you cook again the other 2, and you'll cook enough for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe Saturday you enjoy a meal out, or you have dinner with friends, or you have a special treat meal that you have planned. But what this does is it takes you from going, I want to eat whole foods, which is really vague with no specific action steps, and it takes you instead to saying, I want to eat whole foods. These are the foods I will and won't eat. These are the recipes that support that plan. These are the days of the week I'm going to cook it on. And when you have healthy meals that are prepared that follow your whole food nutrition plan, it makes it really easy to stick to it. There's no guessing games. You know that what you cooked supports your goals. So it makes it a lot easier to sit down and bite into a stuffed bell pepper than it is to grabbing a hunk of ham and an apple and some seeds, which is not a meal. It feels like it, but it's not a meal. All right, you guys, I hope that's been helpful. I want you to leave us a comment below. 2 things. Number 1, let me know whether you're here live or you're watching on the replay, because I always love to come and say hi if you're watching on the replay. The second thing I would like you to do is leave us your best tip for how you stick to a whole food nutrition plan. There are so many of us in this group here. We're closing in on 600 right now. We've got to have tips that we can share with each other and foster this community in which we support getting to our goals all together. So leave your best tip for how you stick to a healthy whole food nutrition diet below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I will talk to you later.